guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I wanted to do a how I studied for my first quarter. I had technically 3 classes. I did not take Pathophysiology, but I can kind of skim over that in this video, but I did take it online, so my study techniques were a lot different than what they usually are for in-school classes. I'm going to go in order for each class and then kind of just show you guys and tell you guys what I did, and hopefully it helps some of you. And yeah, so my first quarter as a nursing student, I was supposed to have pathophysiology, health assessment, and then health assessment comes with a lab, and then online class, which is topics of professional nursing. So we're going to start with my favorite class, health assessment. Okay, so for health assessment, I had a very straightforward teacher. I'm very lucky. I think she was amazing, and I think if more teachers were like her, I think there would be better outcomes and just better people overall in the world. I could say this a million times. I said it in my catch-up video as well. But so pretty much she posted PowerPoints for us every semester. I mean, every chapter. And so I'm so sad. I should have done this earlier because I already took everything out of my binder and it's all kind of disorganized now. But I labeled each chapter. I just broke up sticky notes because I didn't have anything at the time to make it easier, which I do now, which I can show you guys that in an upcoming video. But I put little tabs on them explaining each chapter from chapter, so I wasn't flipping through these pages. Because as you can tell, it's a pretty hefty stack, and that's not even all of them. So what I would pretty much do for her, because she was so straightforward when we were going through our presentations and stuff in class, and she was presenting the PowerPoints to us, she would go over and be like, okay, and an example of a question on this upcoming test would be this. So I would take that question into account of what she was talking about and then highlight those specific things. I color coordinated as much as I could. I tried staying away from red because red is an anxiety color. Which I found out also from my lab instructor teacher. But let me find a good PowerPoint. Okay. Of course I grabbed the genital ones, but this one is a good example. I'm not really supposed to show you guys a ton of stuff, so I don't want to get in trouble for anything. But pretty much she would also tell us to also kind of focus on anything that was bolded or anything that she was covering more than other things. So I would highlight all the bolded things and then underline what followed them, and then I always studied any vocab, even if it was retouching anatomy stuff, that just in case I didn't get confused with anything on the exam. Yeah, and every time she gave me an example question, I would practice those and, just kind of think if that's an example of a question, and try and put her worded questions into new questions, if that makes sense, as I was studying. But I would take my notes with her in class. I would find a highlighter for each chapter, and each chapter had its own highlighter, and each chapter had its own highlighted set of note cards. I know there's colored note cards that you can get, but I specifically save those colored ones. I'll be using them for pharmacology and stuff. I just save the actual colored ones for different occasions, which I will also go over as I go on. I mean, I'm no expert on studying. This is just kind of what works for me. But yeah, so when we were learning about the lungs, I made that blue, and the abdomen was purple. And then skin, what is this? Yeah, when we were learning about skin and stuff and moles and all of that, I colored it green. Nutrition was purple, and I tried separating the colors, so these were the first chapters we went over, and these were the last couple, so that my colors weren't overlapping. And then the lymphatic system was pink, and then the heart was red. So I had different, the heart was, I wrote in red but highlighted it with yellow because obviously I don't want a red highlighter. So that's just kind of what I did for that. And I'm not kidding you, let's see here, we had our lectures Monday, Tuesdays, our lab on Wednesdays, and then our exams were every single Monday after that. So I would start my note cards, as you guys saw in my videos, right after each lecture. I would cover what we covered as soon as I could. And then Wednesday after lab, I would take what I learned from lab and apply it, because obviously it's a lot of assessing techniques and stuff that we were also going to be tested on, so I used those to my advantage. Yeah, I would just take these and study them like crazy all week, as long as I could, as much as I could. And then Saturdays I would try and take like longer mental breaks than usual. And then Josh would quiz me, and that's when I got my handy dandy whiteboard. I would use this bad boy I found it very helpful when I was studying my note cards if I was struggling on something, to just write it down 100 times. So I would just use this and write it down, and then if Josh was quizzing me, I would write it down. If I got confused on anything, I would write down different terms and stuff, and like kind of like clear it out through my head before I rushed to answer the question. Because I feel like that's so important to do in nursing school. So just like, you know, like evaluate what you're actually about to answer. Because the thing with health assessment is there was like a lot of her questions, there was no wrong answer, but which answer was going to be the best answer, if that makes sense. So that was something that we also really had to pay attention to. And also if we followed IPPA, ADPI, our ABCs and stuff, that was also super helpful. I definitely recommend making sure you guys know that and take those into account with every single question. I literally got a 97% on my HESI exam, which was our final exam, only because I followed IPPA, ADPI, ABCs, and all of those things. So yeah, and then if you don't have a whiteboard handy, you could also do this. This is like a really old notebook. I still have some patho stuff in here too, which I can show you guys. But yeah, I literally would just sit there, and literally anything I was struggling on, I would just write over 100 times until it was stuck in my brain. And then I would put it all together and give it to Josh and say, quiz me. And I just did that until I felt comfortable studying. Yeah, that's just what worked for me in health assessment. And then because health assessment did have a lab, I took a lot of that stuff into account too. So before every single lab, we had lab questions due. And the thing that stood out to me was in our lab books, which I can show you. We just had these bad boys. Oh wait, that's my... Anyways, so this is my lab book. I obviously have little tabs for each chapter that we had to do. But the thing that stood out to me, as I was saying, was that she only gave us a few questions per chapter. So I figured, because my lab instructor was a different instructor than my health instructor, but they still worked together, if that makes sense. They like were like, so it was my health assessment teacher is pretty much telling my lab teacher what to focus on for us. So I took that into account, because obviously if she wants us to focus on that, then that's also going to be helpful for the exam. Also because it's also going to help with the exams in our lab class. So I took those very seriously. I did not miss a single one. And I did it in a very organized way, highlighted all of my like terms and then things that like we were gonna have to focus on for like chapter 9, when we were doing like physical appearance, their body structure, their mobility, and their behavior, when you're just doing like a general assessment of someone. So stuff like that I highlighted, because obviously that's super important to remember. I did all the vocab, again kept it color coded with the note cards because I'm psycho. And yeah, just highlighted everything that I thought would be important. And then I also highlighted things if she said it in class, like this was like the symptoms to look at or to address during their history that you're gathering. So I just highlighted everything that I thought would be valuable, and it honestly took me a very long way. I did really good in the class, so kind of a lot, but kind of pretty simple. I mean, note cards, whiteboard, write it down, regurgitate it, study as much as you can. My biggest point in this all too is to remind you guys how important mental breaks are. So at the beginning of the semester, I was not taking mental breaks seriously. I just didn't think that it was going to be super helpful. And then towards the end, I got like 2 low C's in a row on exams, and they were the exams that I stressed the hardest for. I didn't take any study breaks or anything, and I did really bad. And then after that, I had even harder exams that I got almost A's on, because I did take mental breaks and I did prioritize my mental health first. And you know what? I did freaking great. I literally was like surprised at how well I did when I kind of like slowed my roll a bit. And then for lab, another thing that we do, so can't really show you guys too much of this, but they give you this health assessment, which is your brief head to toe like final kind of thing that you have to do. And they gave it to us, and they show you like the first attempt to redo, attempt to pass, attempt to fail, and then pass or fail, comments kind of things and stuff. So we each got assigned a different system to assess at the beginning. So mine was brief head to toe, which was like the longest to do. And then like some got like abdomen or lungs and heart and stuff like that. So we all got different ones. And then after that, which I got this from my friend Caitlin, but pretty much you write down the skills that they're looking for. So like subjective questions that I need to ask. So this was written in like gray to know that I was the one that needed to be saying that. And then black was what I should have been like doing. So like washing hands, put on gloves, inspect several places for color and condition. Then I would state hair's blonde, full and clean, there are no patches noted. School is symmetrical, midline and round, there are no lesions noted. So things like that. And that, repeating this 100 times and practicing on my sister, on my babies, on Josh, on my nanny families, got me so far. So I definitely recommend taking whatever paperwork that they give you that you need to fulfill for your final test out exam, and regurgitating it as long as you can, and start it at the beginning of the semester. A lot of us waited till the last semester because we were overwhelmed with the other exams and other classes, but we've all regretted it at the end. I mean, we all did really well, and I know I'll do really well when I do take it because I've also had extra time to practice. But if you guys missed that, my dad had a heart attack and I missed my final day. But when I get to take my exam, like I'm so confident in my ability to do really well because of how much I've just said it out loud and practiced it. And a lot of it, like I haven't even looked at this in probably a week now, and like just like doing things, I'm like, oh, like it's just like has become like a muscle memory, if that makes sense. And that's like the key of all this, is like to make it a muscle memory. But it's a lot of bedside stuff, very explanatory. Having my CNA really freaking helped me, like the swipe in and swipe out stuff and the brown cow out knew so well because I had done it in my CNA class, and I had done it for 10 months prior to that as a CNA. So that is my health assessment and health assessment lab, how I studied those. We also, because our lab, we were there for like 2.5 hours, and me and my friends, I mean, we struggled to stay focused, but the days that we did stay focused and practice on each other, it really, you guys went far. Okay, the next class, let's talk about, also I'm not editing this, you guys. This is gonna be a very raw video because I'm just trying to go from memory and I don't want to miss anything. So for Patho Online, she gave us case studies that we got, and they were like every like 3.5 weeks that we did them. So I wrote the case studies down, made sure I got every single vocabulary word possible because I knew they were going to be important, and they also have been really important in health assessment, and I know they're going to take me far in pharmacology too. And then any extra things that I thought I would just put on sticky notes and put down below, just in case, like if there's like a sentence in here that I was like that didn't quite make sense, I would take like that and break it down and put it down here or something like that. So kind of did that. You can see I have lots of that going on, case study, and then at the end we would like have to like diagnose our patient. So I would go down and be like, okay, he's 45 years old. What are his signs and symptoms right now? What are previous things he's gone through? What is his history? What is his family history, his medical history, his social history? And I would take all the information like that from the case study and just write it down in like a hot mess and assess him pretty much. Which also, this class would have definitely been easier if I was taking it with health assessment because you're assessing them, their diseases, but like in health assessment is teaching you how to assess people, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just wrote that down, and then we didn't have exams, we just had quizzes, and I would just read over my vocab and stuff and everything that she gave me, and I did really well in that class. I definitely think taking it online got me a lot further because I was just me in that one class. I had nothing else to do, so it was really easy for me. I just read a lot, you know, participated in the discussions, discussed with my classmates and stuff. So that was that. And then what is my other class? Oh, topics of online class of topics of professional nursing. Oh my gosh, English, sis. So this was my book for that. And pretty much we got assigned a chapter and a PowerPoint every single day online, so I would read my chapters, and then the stuff is like very self-explanatory. It's pretty much just like getting into the workforce and applying for jobs and resumes and how to be an appropriate like mentee when you're getting mentored, and how to create relationships in the workforce and stuff like that. So Also, I've been in this business for a while. You know, I've been working, doing my job, doing my service for a while now. So a lot of it came very straightforward to me. So pretty much I just did her PowerPoints, and then she was really cool. She actually gave us study guides, and so I would just take the study guides and read it over, and then I would just take my exams. I got a B on a couple of them that were like really long ones because I was exhausted by the end of them, but mostly I maintained an A in that class. I got an A in the class, and I maintained most A's in all my quizzes and exams because of that. The only thing that I really hated was the discussion posts. I thought they were really pointless, but I didn't say that. But yeah, that is like all I did to study, you guys. I mean, I feel like it's a lot, but I also feel like it's pretty chill and pretty self-explanatory, but mostly just take those mental breaks, you guys, and, you know, have confidence in everything and go into it with confidence. I went into the semester being confident that I was going to do well and I was going to go far and I was going to excel and get the results that I wanted, and I did just that. I think you want to manifest it, work your ass off, try hard, ask questions. If you're confused, get help. Don't wait till the last minute, get help, you guys. It's so important. And yeah, I didn't really study with friends this time around, but I think in the next coming quarters, now that I have friends, that we will plan to study more often together. But guys, also to just add in, this is gonna cut out some weird part of the video, but I want you guys to know that I am keeping, and I suggest keeping, everything that you use to study, the books, the materials, and everything for the NCLEX and stuff. I don't know what I should be paying attention to and stuff as time goes on, but to me it's very important. So I got a little bin from Target, and I've just been putting all my stuff in there. And then I have actually this old book and binder right here that literally still has like all of my study things from anatomy and physiology and all of those classes. So I still have that stuff all in here. So yeah, I just want to keep all of it because you never know. At least I never know. I'm anxious. I just never know when like I'm gonna need it again, or I just feel like I should always be brushing up on all of this, you know? So yeah. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I don't really know. It's kind of hard. I think these videos will get a little bit easier and like nicer for you guys to watch probably as I go on and like actually have like more stuff to say and more things to explain. But I feel like a lot of this is self-explanatory and pretty understandable, so that's all I got for you guys. But I love you guys, and I hope you like this video. I hope it helps you guys, and if you guys have any other questions, please reach out down below and I would love to answer those for you guys. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.